It is after few days we meet again, and we already completed all the short stories and the poems. And I hope that the short stories and the poems that we discussed all are clear to you, and you may again go through the short stories and the poems. And if you have any doubts, you can ask your doubts and clarify your doubts by using CSoft software. And now, today onwards, we will start our lessons on Merchant of Venice. Already we had finished the first scene, Act 1. First scene we have already finished, and today we will start with the second scene of Merchant of Venice. The beginning of the play, Antonio, the central character of Merchant of Venice, is presented in melancholic mood. In that situation, two of his friends come there, and they are Saladino and Salanio, and they are just trying to find out the reasons for the melancholic mood of Antonio. What is the meaning of melancholy? Melancholy is sad mood. So these two friends, they were trying to find out the reasons for Antonio's melancholy, and they said different reasons. They say maybe his sheep are in Greece, so that is the reason for his melancholy. And the other reason, he may be in love, but Antonio, he doesn't accept such kind of comments from his friends. And in that occasion, another friend, an important friend, the close friend of Antonio, come there, and his name is Bassanio. And what is the purpose of his visit? He wanted to go to Belmont. There is a beautiful lady. Her name is Portia, and Bassanio wanted to marry Portia. And in order to marry Portia, Bassanio needs money. Because of his extravagant life or lavish life, he lost all the money, and now Bassanio comes to Antonio in order to ask money to go to Belmont and become a better suitor for Portia. And Bassanio comes with a few of his friends, and the important one here it is Gratiano. Gratiano is a talkative person, and he also trying to find out reasons for Antonio's melancholy. And according to Gratiano, there are few people always appear to be sad. For what purpose? In order to get reputation. So he just says that Antonio also is doing the same thing, and that is a foolish thing. Then again the conversation between Bassanio and Antonio develops, and there Bassanio speaks about the beauty of Portia, and he is asking for the money. Then Antonio replies that he doesn't have money at present, and he asks Bassanio to ask the moneylenders to lend money in the name of Antonio. So that is the first scene, Act 1, Scene 1. And today we are going to see the scene number 2. And you may please take scene number 2 in your textbook. You may take page number 30 in your textbook. Act 1, Scene 2. There is a brief introduction is given. You may please go through the introduction given about the scene 2. The scene opens in Belmont, where Portia, a rich, beautiful heiress, resides. She shares with her maid Nerissa her doubts concerning her future due to the strange provisions of her father's will. So here the scene takes place in Belmont. The first scene, it took place in Venice, and the second scene, it takes place in Belmont. And the same place Bassanio wanted to go. So the scene takes place there, and Portia, she just shares her worries with her maid, and her name is Nerissa. And what are the worries or the doubts of Portia here? It is related to the strange provisions made by her father. According to the father's will, she is to won by the suitor who chooses correctly from among the three caskets. One is gold, one is silver, and one is lead. According to her father's will, the person who rightly selects the casket, three caskets are there, golden, silver, and lead. The person selects the correct one can marry Portia. So that is the will of her father, and because of the same will or the provisions or the strange provisions, Portia is very doubtful and she is very worried. Then Portia ridicules all the suitors who have come earlier to try their luck, showing her disapproval. We know that her father arranged three caskets, and from different parts of the world, many suitors are there to try their luck, and those who came early, and Portia didn't like them, and she is showing her disapproval, those who came so early. And that time, Nerissa, the maid, reminds Portia about Bassanio, and Portia also remembers about Bassanio and his tender thoughts for him. That means even Portia loves Bassanio. She is not interested in any of the suitors. That time Nerissa is reminding Portia about Bassanio, so Portia also expresses her love towards Bassanio. And this scene is in prose. It deals with the indirect explanations and characterization. Indirect explanations and characterization means here when we go through the scene, we will understand that Portia is saying about the character of each suitors, those who came to marry Portia or try their luck. That is why it is given indirect explanations and characterization. So now we will start our scene 2. It takes place in Belmont, a room in Portia's house that enter Portia and Nerissa. So you have to remember that the scene takes place where Belmont, a room in Portia's house. If there is a question, then you have to clearly mention Belmont, a room in Portia's house. And the conversation begins with Portia. She says, by my troth, Nerissa, my little body is aweary of this great world. By my troth. Troth means by my faith. Or honestly, Nerissa, my little body is aweary. Aweary means tired. So Portia is saying that, honestly, I tell you, Nerissa, that my little body is very much tired of this great world. I am very much tired of this great world. When Portia says that she is very much tired of this great world, then Nerissa answers, you would be, sweet madam, if your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are. You would be tired, my sweet madam. You would be tired, dear madam, Nerissa says to Portia. And what is the reason? Because since you have as many miseries, miseries means the troubles. So since you have as many miseries as you have good fortunes, so you have got fortunes and miseries in a same quantity. So that is the reason for your tiredness, and that is the reason you are tired of this great world, because you have got fortunes, at the same time the same quantity of miseries or the troubles also are there in your life. And again Nerissa clarifies her point and says, and yet for aught I see, they are as sick that surfeit with too much as they that starve with nothing. So here Nerissa speaks about two extremes. Surfeit means overfed, means the people those who eat more, and the people those who get enough opportunities and more opportunities, and they are leading a luxurious and lavish life. And the other extreme, what is that? Poverty. So two extremes we can see, richness and poverty. One person is starving and other person is leading a lavish life, or the life in which he is overfed. He is leading a lavish or the luxurious life. So according to Nerissa, both of these people suffers. Both of these people suffers. How? According to him, people who have too much are just as sick as those who are ill and starving by having nothing with them. We know that the people, those who starve and those who are leading poor life or the poverty, they always struggles and they may feel sick. But here Nerissa is adding one more point. What is that point? The people, those who are having enough wealth in their hand, they are also sick as the people, those who are having nothing in their life. Then she says that it is no mean happiness, therefore, to be seated in the mean. So, 2 times the word mean is used here. The first one, the mean means it is no poor, it is no small happiness. That is the meaning. And in the second time, mean is used, the meaning is middle. So it is no mean happiness, means it is not small happiness to be situated in a position midway between poverty and riches. Okay, if you go through the meanings given in the right side, you can understand it is very clear there, and you can just go through. So Nerissa says that it is better to be seated in the middle. These two extremes, they are not good. What is the two extremes? Richness and poverty. So now you are standing in the middle, and that is very good, because you have got miseries in the life and at the same time you have got fortunes. So you are standing in the middle, so that is very good. And if you are having only fortunes, then you will feel sick. And if you are having poverty, nothing in your life, then also you will feel sick very soon. But you are having both fortunes and miseries in a equal quantity. So your life is something very good. And again she says, superfluity comes sooner by white hairs, but competency lives longer. Superfluity. What is the meaning of superfluity? Superfluity means the people, those who have too much of anything. The people, it may be money, food, or anything. So those who have too much of anything. So the people, those who have too much of anything, they will get old very fast. They will age sooner, according to Nerissa. But the people, competency means the people who are having just enough. They may not be having so much things, but just enough things in their hand. They will live longer, according to Nerissa. So here Nerissa gives a reason for Portia's tiredness. What is that? Since you are standing in the middle, that is why you are so much worried. You have fortunes and miseries in a equal quantity. That is the reason for your miseries. The people, those who are having too much, they also feel sick, and the people, those who are having nothing, they also feel sick. Since you are standing in the middle, that is the best thing. Then Portia says, good sentences and well pronounced. The things that you said, the proverbs that you said, it is very good, and you said very clearly. And Nerissa says, they would be better if well followed. That is very important, that sentence. Why? Because many times we listen to many instructions, but what happens? We don't follow. So Nerissa in a way says that whatever I said, that is very good, and that is right also, but it will be more better, it will be best when it is practiced or followed. So the instructions must be followed. Then only it will become more good. So that is enough for today's class. You may just go through, and I hope that you understood this part. And in the next class, we will discuss about the rest of the scene. Thank you.